Okay, let's look at part 3, or part C. It says define three example. Describe 3 different ways that folk culture reacts to interaction with popular culture. All right, the first one is assimilation. Assimilation is the process by which cultural interaction results in one or more cultures adopting new cultural elements to the point that it is indistinguishable from the new culture. In the process, much of the original culture is lost. The loss of Native American language is an example of assimilation. As more and more Native Americans are educated in non-native schools, fewer and fewer people are able to speak, read, and write these traditional languages. Okay, so there's an example of folk culture and how it is assimilated. This assimilation is the example that I chose to use. Okay, commodification is the process by which cultural elements, which is uh, not intended to be bought or sold, becomes won by an outside group. So this idea that here's this thing, it's not a good to be bought or sold, but it becomes bought or sold by an outside group. The yin and yang symbol of Taoism is common in many popular culture contexts that are not related to religion. East Asian alphabet symbols are common as tattoos for aesthetics, but not for communication reasons. Okay, so we have this idea of this cultural element being taken outside of its context, bought or sold, and used for different purposes. Okay, and then finally, authenticity. Authenticity is the extent to which a culture or trait maintains its meaning and significance when replicated outside of its original culture. The example that I gave was the city of Branson, Missouri. Attempted to replicate Ozark culture in amusement parks and vacation resorts. When this replication is not authentic, outsiders become confused about the meaning of the culture being represented. Okay, so in all these cases, folk culture is being altered or affected in some way. Here, and we've laid out examples of the 3 ways in which that happens. All right, so there's example number 1, example number 2, example number 3. Okay, here is what part C looks like when we add it to our outline. So once again, we've got part A, part B, part C, all 3 chunks there. And if you look at, now that we're done with the question, this looks like a pretty well-formed response. There's not a lot of things that you should have to go back and add in at this point. So you should be pretty close to done, ready to wrap up and move on to the next question, which once again, moving on is very important in order to properly use your time. All right, I'm going to pause right here and we're going to take a look at the last step